what do we have right now? In Europe, we have a patchwork of regulations. We see it in many different countries, different approaches, and that has an impact on the business. That slows down innovation because of all those regulations. We want to make sure that the business has the right conditions to grow, but not too much regulation as well there. And what we do with all that information, with this context, we have adopted a three-part approach, a strategy to address regulatory challenges and turn them into opportunities. So today I'm going to share a bit more with you about that. Let's look at the state of play of EV charging. In the EU right now, we have the AFIR, which is the Alternative Fuels Infrastructure Regulation. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's live. It's supposed to be directly applicable as a regulation. That was the biggest success, in a way, from turning it from a directive to a regulation. And we still see local implementations of AFIR for some reason. There's been some good news as well. I mean, just recently in Portugal, the market aligned with the AFIR requirements, because previously it wasn't really aligned for the public charging space. And of course, we do have private charging regulations. But today I'm going to focus mostly on the public element. And what we see when it comes to public charging, but also private, is a lot of overlaps with other industries as well. So not only the national laws on eMobility and EV charging, but also intersections with aspects like data security, tax, fiscalization, and energy, and more. There's more to that, which creates, I would say, overhead. And we want to make sure that we turn this into opportunity. So the costs and complexity that come with compliance, they have to be considered to be also opportunities for growth. Market access, as I mentioned, there are some markets where there's different reasons which prevent companies from entering or scaling. And then, as I mentioned, the pace of innovation, well, focusing on regulatory compliance puts companies away from innovating. And we decided to take a look at all this as a context and do the following. So starting off with intelligence, and this is something that we've been doing since 2022. I joined the company in 2021, and we've been building very deep awareness of all those regulatory developments across markets. We implement systems to monitor that, and we have our own regulatory database that we keep for, I think right now, about 38 different jurisdictions across the world. And we have also some market-specific insights for some other countries as well. But we look at the whole ecosystem of regulatory requirements, and we share that with our clients. But most of all, it's helping us to understand how our product and our approach to those markets should evolve. We do translate all those legal governments into product functionalities. So there's a close work between our regulatory team and our product team, which has delivered very good results for the last years, for sure. Then, of course, we have to be proactive, and this is where advocacy comes in. So together with a lot of ecosystem partners, sometimes competitors as well, we sit together in industry associations, and I see representatives here from some of those associations as well, where we collaborate on responses to public hearings, consultations. We make sure that the operational challenges of CPOs and EMSPs are heard. Also, they're represented in those legislative discussions with stakeholders. Sometimes we would facilitate for additional discussions if needed for our clients. And we want to make sure that we're leading the way and we inspire others. The compliance bit, of course, that's where it gets really tricky, because it's a cross-team challenge. We look at legal, we look at finance, we look at security. And this database not only covers those jurisdictions, but we expand it in conversations where we offer regulatory advisory services, that's how we coined it, which are sometimes detailed briefs, other times more tailored, bespoke guidance towards our clients, with the idea to implement a strategy for them that supports their growth. And at the same time, we make sure that our product is market ready. We've done that for all the 70 markets that we operate in. And oftentimes, as you can imagine, there's state-specific requirements in the US or country-specific requirements because of the DSOs that operate there, the different incentive programs as well that might require reporting. And also all the opportunities that are out there for companies like carbon credits. This is a big trend emerging right now, which, again, diverges across countries in terms of requirements. So all this shapes the context in which me and my team operate across our company. I've talked to several of you already at the conference today and yesterday about how you build your own ecosystem in terms of regulatory affairs. And I was happy to hear that a lot of what I'm saying here also appears in a lot of other companies' approaches. But what I believe we're really doing differently is how we integrate this across our teams. Oftentimes, I'll be caught in communications between security, legal, finance, and this has brought a lot of benefits for some of our clients. I can bring up some specific case studies to highlight some of the challenges, how we approach that, and what the result was. So the first one I wanted to share with you is with regards to VAT and all the complexities that emerge around places of supply, taxation, fiscalization. We made sure to compile a detailed legal analysis and identify all the different requirements, which provided us with the insights and the opportunity to consult our clients on how to handle those challenges and also enable that through our platform. The result? Achieving compliance, reducing legal risks, reducing also expenditures, which, of course, could be taken in the context of external consulting. Now, of course, we don't discourage our clients to consult externally, but we make sure to provide that first important piece of information which will guide their decision. It's always important to verify things in our industry, so having that voice on the other side has been found to be very valuable. The other example I wanted to provide is around the topic of fiscalization. I'm sure that many of you are seeing that right now emerging more and more as a big topic in Europe. And requirements vary by country. So there's a lot of complexity in this topic. Even though there's an EU law about it, guess what? There's 27 different implementations. Different countries have different requirements on how fiscalization of transactions happens. Some outside the EU even would have hardware that's integrated, which makes it even more complex. So it's not all cloud-based. It has to be adapted to the local requirements. And what me and my team did, we stepped in and we made sure that we create a tailored approach for our clients that operate in multiple markets to address their needs and guide them through this emerging challenge. Not all markets actually have introduced fiscalization requirements or e-invoicing requirements, but this is certainly something that's happening, and we make sure to be on top of the pulse of those developments. We address those different markets. We create a modular framework where we deliver and we partner. So these days, we've been hearing a lot of different local requirements, and I believe this is one of the biggest challenges, considering that it's supposed to be a single market. And I want to ask you now, what are the biggest challenges that you face right now? I'll be happy to chat with you about it, and you can, of course, partner with us to achieve all those operational efficiencies I was mentioning. Thank you.